The sharp crack of a slap echoed through the ornate church in downtown Seattle, silencing the murmurs of the gathered guests. Jamie's hand connected with his stepdaughter Lily's cheek, her small frame stumbling back in her flower girl dress, tears welling up in her wide eyes. "You little brat. I told you to stay quiet," Jamie hissed, his face flushed with rage, as the bride-to-be, Sarah, gasped in horror from beside him at the altar. Ben, Jamie's older brother, froze in the front pew, his heart pounding. He had seen glimpses of Jamie's temper before, but this publicly assaulting a child on what was supposed to be the happiest day? No, this couldn't stand. Ben shot to his feet, his voice cutting through the stunned silence. "Stop! This wedding is over." The church erupted into chaos. Guests whispered furiously, phones emerged from pockets to capture the drama, and Sarah's family surged forward, demanding explanations. Jamie whirled on Ben, his eyes blazing. "What the hell are you doing, Ben? This is my day. Sit down and shut up." But Ben didn't back down. He strode up the aisle, his partner Mark gripping his arm in support from the seat behind. "Your day? You're about to marry Sarah, and you just hit her daughter in front of everyone. If you think that's okay, then yeah, this needs to end right now." Flashback to 6 months earlier. Ben had always been the steady one in the family, the gay brother who came out in college and built a life in Portland with Mark, a quiet software engineer. They had a cozy home, 2 rescue dogs, and a circle of friends who accepted them without question. Jamie, on the other hand, was the golden boy, straight-A student, star athlete, now a successful real estate agent in Seattle. But beneath that polished exterior lurked a volatility that Ben had witnessed growing up. Their parents had divorced when the boys were teens, and their father remarried quickly, bringing tension into the household. Jamie idolized their dad, adopting his rigid views on masculinity and family roles. Ben, sensitive and introspective, clashed with that often. When Ben came out, their father barely spoke to him for years, and Jamie followed suit, making snide comments about lifestyle choices at family gatherings. Now, at 35, Ben had hoped things were changing. Jamie had invited him to the wedding, even asked him to be a groomsman. "Water under the bridge, bro," Jamie had said over the phone. "Sarah's great, and Lily's a handful, but we're making it work." Ben accepted, sensing a thaw in their relationship. Mark encouraged it. "Family's family, Ben. Give him a chance." But doubts crept in during the rehearsal dinner the night before. Lily, Sarah's 8-year-old from a previous marriage, was fidgety, spilling her juice on the tablecloth. Jamie's smile tightened as he snapped at her. "Can't you behave for once?" Sarah intervened softly. "She's excited, Jamie. Let it go." Ben watched, unease stirring. Later, in their hotel room, he confided in Mark. "Something's off. Jamie seems on edge around the kid." Mark, ever the optimist, squeezed his hand. "Weddings are stressful. It'll be fine." The morning of the wedding dawned crisp and sunny, the Puget Sound sparkling beyond the church windows. Ben adjusted his tie in the mirror, glancing at Mark in his suit. "You look handsome," Mark said, kissing his cheek. "Proud of you for being here." As the ceremony began, everything seemed picture-perfect. Sarah walked down the aisle radiant in white, Lily scattering petals with a shy smile. The vows were heartfelt, promising love and commitment. But then, during the ring exchange, Lily dropped the pillow, the rings clattering to the floor. She giggled nervously, bending to pick them up. Jamie's face darkened. "Damn it, Lily," he muttered, loud enough for the front rows to hear. When she fumbled again, he lashed out, the slap heard round the church. Now, standing at the altar, Ben faced his brother. The priest looked bewildered, fumbling with his Bible. Sarah cradled Lily, who sobbed into her dress. "Jamie, how could you?" Sarah whispered, her voice breaking. Jamie pointed at Ben. "This is because of you, isn't it? Always the drama queen. Jealous that I'm starting a family the right way." The words stung, dredging up old wounds. Ben's coming out had fractured the family. Their father had called it a phase, their mother torn between support and keeping peace. Jamie had mocked him at school, spreading rumors to save face with his friends. But Ben had rebuilt, finding love with Mark, who stood by him through therapy and reconciliation attempts. Right way, Ben echoed, his voice steady despite the hurt. Hitting a child is the right way? Sarah, you deserve better than this. Guests shifted uncomfortably. Jamie's best man, a college buddy, tried to pull him aside. Dude, calm down. But Jamie shrugged him off, advancing on Ben. You've always hated me for being normal. Now you're ruining my wedding because what? You think you're some hero? Mark stood now, joining Ben. This isn't about us, Jamie. It's about Lily and Sarah. Sarah looked between them, tears streaming. Jamie, is this who you are? The question hung in the air, the first crack in the facade. Ben knew this intervention could end their brotherhood for good, but watching Lily's reddened cheek, he couldn't regret it. Family wasn't about blood. It was about protection. As the chaos unfolded, whispers turned to arguments. Sarah's mother demanded the wedding halt, while Jamie's friends defended him. Kids need discipline. Ben stood firm, the weight of his choice settling in. This was just the beginning. The church doors burst open as Sarah fled with Lily in her arms, her veil trailing like a ghost. Guests spilled out onto the steps, the Seattle spring air doing little to cool the heated debates. Ben followed, Mark close behind, while Jamie shouted after them, Sarah, wait, it was an accident. But Sarah didn't stop. She bundled Lily into her car, slamming the door before peeling away. Ben watched, his chest tight. Had he done the right thing, or had he just destroyed 2 lives? Back inside, the priest cleared his throat awkwardly. Perhaps we should postpone. Jamie rounded on him, then on Ben. Happy now? You've always wanted to play the victim. Gay brother. Boo-hoo. Life's so hard. Ben met his gaze. This isn't about me being gay, Jamie. It's about you being abusive. The word hung heavy. Jamie's face paled, then reddened. Abusive? For disciplining a kid who's not even mine? She spoiled Ben. Sarah lets her run wild. Their argument spilled into the vestibule, drawing a crowd. An aunt from their mother's side chimed in. Jamie, that was too far. Ben's right. But their father's old friend shook his head. In my day, a slap set kids straight. Society's gone soft. Ben felt the societal divide keenly. Growing up in conservative suburbs, he'd faced slurs and exclusion. Coming out meant navigating a world that debated his right to exist, let alone marry. Now, at 35, with same-sex marriage legal, he and Mark had tied the knot quietly 2 years ago. But prejudices lingered, especially in family circles. Jamie had attended their wedding begrudgingly, making backhanded compliments. Nice ceremony, for what it is. Ben swallowed the barbs for peace, but now they resurfaced. Mark pulled Ben aside. We should go. Let him cool off. But Jamie wasn't done. You think you're better than me because you have your partner? At least I'm building a real family. The jab landed. Ben and Mark had discussed adoption, but fertility clinics and agencies often favored straight couples. Societal biases made it harder, fueling Ben's advocacy work with LGBTQ+ groups. Real family, Ben retorted. One where fear rules? No thanks. As they left, Ben's phone buzzed. Sarah. Can we talk? Not here. They met at a nearby coffee shop, Lily coloring quietly in a booth while Sarah sipped tea, her makeup streaked. I didn't see it coming, she admitted. Jamie has been short-tempered, but never like this. Ben nodded. Has he hit her before? Sarah hesitated, then whispered, once or twice, a smack on the hand. I thought it was discipline. Lily looked up, her cheek still pink. He yells a lot when mommy's not home. The revelation hit Ben like a punch. Sarah broke down. I love him, but is this fixable? Mark, ever empathetic, said, only if he changes. But you can't risk Lily. Sarah wiped her eyes. Ben, why did you stand up? Jamie says you're jealous. Ben sighed. We're brothers, but we've clashed since I came out. He resents me for choosing this life, as if it's a choice. But today wasn't about that. It was about you too. As they talked, flashbacks wove in, Ben at 18 telling his family. Their father, "No son of mine. Jamie, you're embarrassing us." Years of therapy followed, Ben finding solace in Mark, met at a support group. Their relationship blossomed amid shared struggles. Mark's conservative family disowned him too. Now helping Sarah, Ben felt a purpose. But controversy brewed. Social media exploded with videos of the slap, hashtags like wedding fail and family drama trending. Comments poured in, "Groom's a monster," versus "Stepkids need tough love." Jamie called Ben that night furious. "You've turned everyone against me." Sarah won't answer. "You did that yourself," Ben said. "Get help, Jamie." But Jamie hung up, escalating tensions. The next day, their mother called Ben. "You've divided the family again. Why couldn't you stay quiet?" Ben's heart ached. Reconciliation seemed impossible, but he stood by his choice. Mark held him. "You saved that girl." Weeks passed. Sarah filed for separation, citing the incident. Jamie spiraled, losing clients at work amid the publicity. He blamed Ben, sending accusatory texts. "Happy now, hero?" Ben ignored them, focusing on his life. But a family gathering loomed, their father's 70th birthday. Attendance was expected, despite rifts. Arriving at the lakeside cabin in Washington, Ben braced for confrontation. Jamie was there, alone, nursing a beer. Their father greeted Ben coolly. "Heard about the wedding. Quite the show." Dinner was tense. Jamie exploded midway. "Ben ruined my life, acting like he's morally superior because he's gay and oppressed." Their father nodded. "Discipline's important, son. But public? Bad form." Ben pushed back. "Hitting a child is never okay. And my sexuality has nothing to do with it." Arguments flared, exposing deep biases. Their mother mediated. "We're family. Work it out." But Jamie stormed out, vowing revenge. Ben wondered if bridges could mend or if some fractures were permanent. Months after the wedding fiasco, Ben found himself testifying in a custody hearing. Sarah had sought full custody of Lily, and Jamie, fighting back, dragged Ben into it as a character witness, against his will. "My brothers always had it out for me," Jamie claimed in court documents. His lifestyle makes him biased against traditional families. The Seattle courtroom buzzed with tension. Ben sat on the stand, Mark in the audience offering silent support. The judge, a stern woman in her 50s, peered over her glasses. "Mr. Thompson, describe your relationship with your brother." Ben spoke evenly. "We've had differences, especially after I came out as gay. But my intervention at the wedding was about protecting a child, not personal grudges." Jamie's lawyer pressed. "Isn't it true you envy his heterosexual life? That you stopped the wedding out of spite?" Objections flew, but the seed was planted. Media outside the court sensationalized. Gay brother accused of sabotaging straight wedding. Online forums debated. Is corporal punishment abuse? Do gay relatives overstep in straight families? Ben felt exposed, his private life dissected. Flashbacks to high school taunts resurfaced. Fag. Queer. He'd built armor, but this cracked it. Mark comforted him at home. "They're wrong. You're brave." Sarah won temporary custody, but Jamie appealed, citing cultural norms in discipline. Community divided. Some supported Jamie, arguing step-parent challenges. Others rallied for Ben, seeing him as a hero against abuse. Amid this, Ben and Mark faced their own hurdle: adoption. They'd applied to adopt a toddler, but the agency hesitated, citing the publicity. "We need stable homes," the caseworker said delicately. Ben fumed. "Stable? We've been together 10 years. This is discrimination." Mark nodded. "Fight it, like you fought for Lily." Ben did, contacting LGBTQ+ advocates. Protests formed outside the agency, highlighting biases in adoption. Media shifted. Gay couple denied adoption amid family drama. Jamie, seeing the coverage, lashed out in an interview. "Ben's using this for attention. He's the one tearing families apart." The backlash was swift. Ben's work as a graphic designer suffered. Clients pulled out, fearing association. Friends distanced themselves, whispers of troublemaker. One night, alone while Mark worked late, Ben scrolled through hate mail. "Stay out of real families, homo." Tears came unbidden. Was standing up worth this? But a call from Sarah bolstered him. "Lily's thriving without fear. Thank you." Inspired, Ben organized a panel on family violence and LGBTQ+ rights. Speakers shared stories. Gay siblings intervening in abusive homes, facing ostracism. Attendees included allies and skeptics, sparking heated discussions. Jamie showed up unexpectedly, lurking in the back. After, he approached Ben. "We need to talk." They met at a neutral park, Lake Union shimmering nearby. Jamie looked haggard. "I lost everything. Sarah, my job. Because of you." Ben shook his head. "Because of your actions. But I'm sorry it's come to this." Jamie admitted haltingly. "Dad hit us too. Remember? I thought it was normal." Ben nodded. "It wasn't. Therapy helped me see that." A fragile truce formed. Jamie agreed to anger management, dropping the appeal. But societal rifts lingered. At a family reunion, cousins debated, "Spanking's okay in moderation." Ben countered, "No, it's abuse." Mark pulled him aside. "You're changing minds, one conversation at a time." Their adoption moved forward, the agency relenting under pressure. They welcomed little Jamie, a 2-year-old with curly hair and infectious laugh. Joy filled their home, but challenges remained. Playground stares, questions about two dads. Jamie visited tentatively, meeting Jamie. "Cute kid," he said awkwardly. "Sorry for everything." Ben smiled. Apology accepted, but change takes work. As tensions eased, a new conflict brewed. Sarah started dating again, introducing a man who seemed perfect, until Lily mentioned, "He yells sometimes." Ben's instincts flared. "Intervene again?" Mark cautioned, "It's not our place." But Ben wrestled. Protect or overstep? Society's lens on him as the meddling gay brother complicated it. At a dinner with Sarah, Ben broached it gently. She defended, "He's different from Jamie." Lily whispered to Ben, "I miss when it was just mommy and me." The dilemma tore at him. Echoes of the wedding slap haunted. Had he waited too long before? Highs and lows built. Ben's advocacy grew, speaking at conferences on intersecting family dynamics and queer rights. Controversies followed. Accusations of pushing agendas in child welfare. One panel turned ugly. A conservative speaker claimed, "Gay influence disrupts traditional discipline." Ben rebutted, "Abuse disrupts lives, period." Applause mixed with boos, mirroring society's fractures. Back home, Mark and Jamie grounded him. "Daddy Ben story?" Jamie asked, climbing into his lap. As Ben read, peace settled. But the past loomed, choices echoing. Years blurred into a tapestry of mended fences and lingering scars. Ben watched Jamie grow into a spirited 5-year-old, navigating kindergarten with two dads. Portland's progressive vibe helped, but not always. A parent's complaint about non-traditional families at a school event stirred unrest. "Diversity includes us," Ben argued at the PTA meeting, Mark by his side. Supportive nods outweighed dissent, but the incident reminded him. Acceptance was fragile. Jamie had rebuilt too. After therapy, he started a support group for step-parents, emphasizing nonviolent discipline. He and Sarah divorced amicably, sharing custody cautiously. Jamie even attended Pride events with Ben, awkward but genuine. "I was wrong about a lot," he admitted over coffee. "Dad's ways messed me up." Their father, aging, softened. At a holiday dinner, he hugged Ben. "Proud of you, son." Tears flowed, healing old wounds. But controversy never fully faded. A documentary filmmaker approached Ben about the wedding incident, titling it, "Brothers Stand. Gay Hero or Family Wrecker?" Ben agreed, hoping to spark dialogue. The film premiered at a Seattle festival, drawing crowds. It chronicled the slap, interventions, and aftermath, interviewing all sides. Sarah spoke tearfully. Ben saved us. Jamie reflected. I needed that wake-up. Post-screening Q&A ignited debates. Was the slap abuse or discipline? Does sexual orientation bias interventions? One audience member accused Ben. You imposed your values on a straight family. Ben responded, values like child safety? Those are universal. The film went viral, polarizing opinions. Conservative outlets decried it as anti-family propaganda, while progressive ones hailed Ben as an icon. Amid acclaim, backlash hit home. Jamie came home crying, Timmy said I don't have a real family. Ben's heart broke. He and Mark explained gently, families come in all shapes. Ours is real because we love each other. But doubt crept. Had his public stance endangered Jamie? Mark reassured, you're teaching him resilience. Sarah's life intersected again. Her new boyfriend, Tom, proposed. Lily, now 12, confided in Ben during a visit. Tom's nice, but he makes rules like Jamie did. Ben probed. Does he yell? Hit? No, but it feels off. Sarah dismissed concerns. He's strict, but good for us. Ben faced a choice. Speak up, risk alienating Sarah, or stay silent, risk regret. He chose carefully, inviting Sarah for lunch. Lily mentioned concerns. Just checking in. Sarah bristled. Not your business, Ben. You've done enough. The words stung, echoing Jamie's old accusations. Was he overstepping? Mark weighed in. Trust your gut, but respect boundaries. Ben backed off but monitored subtly. At Tom's engagement party, tensions simmered. Tom joked about tough love with kids, raising Ben's hackles. Lily pulled Ben aside. Please don't let it happen again. Torn, Ben confided in Jamie, surprisingly an ally now. Talk to Sarah, Jamie advised. I wish someone had with me sooner. Ben did, sharing Lily's fears. Sarah listened, then confronted Tom. It emerged Tom had a history of verbal abuse in past relationships. The engagement ended. Sarah thanked Ben. You were right. Again. But gratitude mixed with resentment. Why does it always fall to you? Ben pondered. As the gay outsider, was he seen as less threatening or more judgmental? Societal reflections deepened. Ben wrote a book, Standing Up, Family, Identity, and Intervention, exploring how queer individuals often become advocates in dysfunctional dynamics, facing double scrutiny. Reviews varied, inspiring versus divisive. Book tours brought encounters, supporters sharing similar stories, critics decrying interference. One stop in Texas turned hostile. Protesters chanted, "Protect traditional families." Ben stood firm. Protection means stopping harm, not preserving status quo. Back home, equilibrium returned. Jamie thrived. Jamie visited often, playing uncle. Family felt whole if imperfect. Yet, a final twist loomed. Their mother fell ill, reuniting everyone. In the hospital, old grievances surfaced. Jamie confessed, "The slap. I was scared of failing as a dad." Ben nodded. "We all fear that." Healing conversations flowed, but mother's recovery brought relief and reflection. As life normalized, Ben realized choices define them. His stand at the altar rippled outward, challenging norms. In the quiet aftermath of their mother's recovery, Ben reflected on the journey from that fateful slap to now. Jamie, now 7, bounded into the living room where Ben and Mark sat, holding a drawing of their family. 2 dads, dogs, and Uncle Jamie. "Look, we're all happy." Ben smiled, but inside questions lingered. Had his actions truly helped, or merely shifted burdens? Jamie had transformed most profoundly. His support group expanded, partnering with child welfare organizations. He dated cautiously, prioritizing therapy. At a group session Ben attended as a guest, Jamie shared, "My brother's courage showed me the mirror. As a straight man, I had blind spots." Attendees nodded, stories pouring out. Blended families grappling with discipline, identity clashes. Ben's book became a bestseller, sparking university courses on family ethics. He lectured at UCLA, fielding questions. How do you balance intervention with respect? With empathy, Ben replied. But silence enables harm. Critics persisted. Op-eds claimed his story promoted queer overreach in heterosexual spaces. A debate on national TV pitted Ben against a conservative pundit. You disrupted a wedding based on one incident, the pundit argued. Overreaction. Ben countered. One public slap suggests more private ones. Data shows corporal punishment correlates with trauma. Viewers voted online. 60% sided with Ben, but the divide highlighted societal tensions. Personally, Sarah remarried a kind man, with Lily's approval. At the wedding, Ben walked Lily down the aisle as her honorary uncle. No drama this time, just joy. Lily hugged him. Thanks for always watching out. But as she grew into a teen, Lily explored her identity, confiding in Ben. I think I like girls. Ben supported her. That's okay. Love who you love. This revelation stirred family dynamics anew. Jamie reacted supportively, but their father struggled. Another one? Ben mediated. It's not contagious, Dad. It's who she is. Conversations evolved, strengthening bonds. Mark and Ben considered expanding their family, fostering a teen boy, Ethan, who was gay and displaced from a conservative home. Challenges arose: Ethan's trust issues, school bullying. Ben drew from his past. You're safe here. Ethan thrived, but a custody battle with his biological family ensued, echoing Ben's interventions. Accusations flew, indoctrinating him into a gay lifestyle. Courts ruled in their favor, citing stability. As years passed, Ben looked back. The altar incident became lore, a turning point. At a family barbecue, laughter filled the air. Jamie raised a toast. To Ben, who stopped my biggest mistake. Ben clinked glasses but pondered deeper impacts. Society progressed unevenly, laws protected LGBTQ+ rights more, but backlashes surged in some states. Ben's advocacy continued, mentoring young queer activists. In quiet moments, he and Mark walked their dogs, hands intertwined. Worth it? Mark asked. Every bit, Ben said. The story circled back to choices, emotions, conflicts, highs of healing, lows of division. Yet, one question remained, sparking endless debate. Was physical discipline ever justifiable in raising children, or is it always a form of abuse that society should unequivocally reject?